What's up, gentlemen? This is Rising Phoenix Podcast, a podcast about how to rise up after your divorce. I'm your host, Michael Rhodes. Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome to the show. This is episode 61. Before we get to the episode, I want to cover one thing. I was holding a contest a couple of weeks ago in the Divorced Men's Network Facebook group page, which, by the way, that group is now completely private. It can't be found by the public. We've had some issues in the Divorce Support for Men Facebook group of people getting in there that didn't belong. And so the Divorced Men's Network Facebook group is completely closed off to the public. And if you want to get into it, you need to go through a verification process. And you can reach out to me in order to figure out how to get you verified. You can reach me at risingphoenixpodcast2020@gmail.com or Michael at divorce-mens-network.com. So we were holding a contest in there, and I think it was episode 58. I was choosing a city at random that had shown up as listened to that episode, and I chose Oxnard, California, randomly. If you are from Oxnard, please reach out to me. I believe you are in the Divorced Men's Network Facebook group, but the data shows me someone from there is in there, but I can't link up who that user is. So if that is you, please reach out. You will get your choice of a shirt, hat, or coffee mug from the merch store. It can either be branded with the podcast or branded with the website Divorced Men's Network. So that's that. This is episode 61, as I said. So this one is on breathwork. I want to caution you, at the end of this episode, we do a 5-minute breathing exercise called circular breathing, which is Amber's expertise. Unfortunately, I think I have to say this. Don't do that when you're driving or operating heavy machinery or anything that isn't like sitting or laying your ass on a floor or a chair or somewhere in order to do this. I did it. You'll hear it and see it if you're on YouTube. And it was intense, to say the least. And I only did 5 minutes, and I did it sitting down. She recommends lying down because you can you get kind of lightheaded, sort of disoriented. It was intense. I definitely recommend you give it a shot. Coincidentally, today, the 23rd of March in 2022, Amber is offering a free class this evening. I don't know the details as to how to get to that class, but if you're hearing this today, the 23rd, reach out to me at the 2 previously mentioned emails, or if you're a Facebook friend or in a Facebook group, hit me up and I'll get you all those details. I don't have them currently, but someone dropped me a note, and I was told that Amber's going to be doing a free class tonight. So if you want to check it out, just hit me up. So that's it. That's all I got. I just wanted to make sure that the winner of the contest got notified and is able to claim whatever prize they want. Here we go. Episode 61.
Hey, so thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so for me, a little background. When I was born, I wasn't breathing. So for the first couple of minutes I came into the world, I was without that, that much needed oxygen. Yeah. So it's kind of set me on a trajectory to kind of where I am today. It was a long path and journey, and remembering all that, it's like one of those stories you're told when you're a kid, like, oh, when you were born, you weren't breathing, you were blue, and we were all freaking out. And you're just like, okay, it was a thing, but yeah, it really did kind of impact me very, very strongly throughout my life. Yeah. So I grew up in a household where my parents were kind of absentee. They were in and out of drug, deal with a lot of abandonment issues from my parents. I lived with my grandparents. They did this. I was a very young mother, teenage mother. My parents both died in a car accident when I was 19. So it just was like a lot before I was 20. So I was carrying around all of this, and it's funny because like after, not funny at all, but after the accident, I immediately I called. I was like, I need to trapped all that stuff inside my body. And, you know, long story short, I went on, I went to college, I got a master's degree. You know, I had, my kids are adults now and management, had 200 employees, and I did all the things that you're like, oh, this is the trajectory that you're supposed to go on as an adult. And I just felt like empty still, you know, I didn't feel like I was fulfilled, even though I did all the things that society says you're supposed to do. And yeah, so I was having a lot of issues with digestive issues, you know, anxiety. I had stomach ulcers. I would get hives, like after a stressful meeting at work, I'd break out in these big hives. And I just realized like this stress and anxiety, I have to find a good outlet for it, you know?
Yeah.
So I was doing yoga and those kind of things. And this class came up. I don't even know how I found it. And it was a holotropic breath work. It's a type of breath work. I had no idea what I was getting into. I thought we were going to go sit and like om and meditate. And I was like, maybe that'll be great for me. And instead I like had this mind-blowing experience where I was like, wow, like I felt like I moved some stuff. I felt like I weighed less afterwards. I like let go of a lot. It really kind of transformed where I am today. It kind of set me on that path. So I started looking around. I was like, I need more of this. And I was looking around. I'm in Orlando. So who's doing it? I couldn't find anyone doing it. So I was like, you know what? Like the community needs this. People need this. And so I was like, let me add that to my yoga teacher training. I went and got certified in circular conscious breath work in LA. And I've been doing it now for a couple of years. And I do big groups, Zooms, one-on-ones, couples. I've done festivals. Yeah. It's been life-changing for me. It really has, like allowing people to have that space and hold that space for them to experience this and to sit up afterwards and be like, whoa, I feel something from that. And that was so powerful. And, you know, to have people like Ryan, who connected us, say that was so powerful for me. I want other people to experience this, which is what happened to me. I was like telling all my friends, I'm like, you got to try this. It's so amazing. Yeah, so that's kind of my bio, kind of how I got to where I am and why I love doing what I'm doing. And yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. It sounds like you had a pretty significant amount of trauma throughout your life, and I think one of the things you need to do to heal from that is find your thing, and it's clear that you found yours.
Absolutely.
So wanted to talk about anxiety and how you deal with that. I think we mentioned maybe there's a breathing exercise perhaps we could talk about, like if like maybe you feel a panic attack coming on, or maybe you're in the midst of one. Can you talk a little bit about what do you recommend during those moments?
Yeah, so my favorite for those moments, and you can do this in the car, it's not super psychedelic like the circular breath, but it's called 4-7-8 breath. So you breathe in for 4, you hold for 7, and then you breathe out for 8. So you're really switching into your parasympathetic nervous system. So after like 5 of these breaths, you'll feel yourself drop into that relaxed state. It's super easy to do. You can do it while you're standing in line or while someone's yelling at you. You can do this, you know, without anyone knowing that you're doing it. And it's profound. So it's really good. So yeah, in for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. So we could do a few rounds of that if you'd like to try it.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah. All right, cool. So let's close our eyes and just breathe normally. And then, so when we start breathing, we're going to breathe in. So you want to breathe in down into your belly. So sometimes it helps to put your hand on your belly and feel it rising. So you don't want to breathe up into the top of your lungs. You want to breathe deep down into your belly. So we're going to breathe in for 4. Ready? In. Hold. And breathe out for 8. You want to let all the air slowly out of your lungs. Just feel it slowly escaping. And as you exhale, you're imagining all the stress, whoever's yelling at you, to just blow away. And then we're going to breathe back in, 2, 3, 4, and hold. And out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now you can just feel how your senses have slowed a little. You can tell immediately that even if you're not stressed out, you're like, whoa, I feel super chill.
I think the I don't know what the exact mechanics of it, but the pause really does it for me. I don't know what. It kind of forces you to be like, to pause yourself, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Your body's not doing anything. It doesn't have to breathe. It doesn't have to move. You can just like literally like, and it's almost like, especially if you put your hand on your belly, you can feel your heart beating in there, and you're like, it connects you to your body so much. And I think that a lot of times when we're anxious or depressed, we're disconnected.
Yeah.
100%. We've become disconnected. Yep. So
totally agree with that. So let's and guys, bookmark this thing or fucking, I don't know, maybe I should take this chunk out and send it out. People ask me all the time, like, do you do clips? No, I don't have fucking time to do clips. Who has time to do that? But maybe this one I should. But let's move on to circular breathing. I don't know much about this. This is sort of your forte, right? This is so let's talk about that. This is my favorite.
Okay, so this is my most profound, for me. This has been the one that has like, it like kicks you in the butt, right when you need it. So this is the kind of breath work when you're like, I'm about to like punch a hole in a wall kind of thing, or I need to move some stuff, and those moments come up, and sometimes you're like, I need to go in a room by myself and fucking breathe it out, right? So the reason why we do this kind of breath work, and what we're going to do is we're going to breathe through our mouth. So normally you always want to breathe through your nose. Your nose is your I'm having a brain fart, your filters. You want to breathe through your nose. You got all your little filters in there. It moistens and warms the air as it enters your lung. But for a few minutes, breathing through your mouth is, because it lets the oxygen in and out, it adjusts the pH of your body. So if you're very acidic, if you drink a lot of sodas, or you eat a lot of red meat, or anything like that, this can help to make you a little more alkaline, which is, acidity is where cancer lives, disease lives, ulcers, all those things are very acidic. I have a long history of stomach ulcers. And so I have been able to, I'm not saying that breath work alone healed that. Also, it's things that you eat and the amount of stress, but this is something that can really help to process those things so that your stomach acid can be a little more neutral. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe into our belly. So you breathe down as you inhale. And this is really weird for a lot of people if you've never done it. It's a very yoga-like thing to do. So if you do a lot of yoga, you may be experienced with it. But it's breathing down into your diaphragm, which is this muscle that sits right under your lungs, under your rib cage. It's kind of like this kind of muscle. So when your lungs inhale, it pushes that muscle down. As you exhale, it goes up. As you inhale, it pushes it down. The purpose of that diaphragm, it sits over your internal organs, and there's a vagus nerve which starts at your brainstem, and it goes down through your jaw, through your neck, down through your lungs, and in through that diaphragm into all your internal organs. So if you've ever seen a newborn baby when they're sleeping, their little belly comes up and down. They're not breathing up here. This is where anxiety happens, up in your chest. So if you've ever like had a panic attack, you're like, you're breathing up here, where if you could slow down and breathe down into the belly, it can reduce that feeling, that anxious feeling. So what the vagus nerve does is when you're pushing on that diaphragm, it tells the brain to release endorphins and serotonin, all the happy chemicals that make you feel euphoric and happy. It also tells those organs to detox. So you want to drink a lot of water after you do this kind of breath work, because your organs are going to flush, like your gallbladder, your liver, all your intestines. They're going to flush. So you want to be able to like pee that out and not reabsorb it.
Gotcha.
So that's a little history behind this type of breath work. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe about 80% into our belly. And then we're going to breathe another sip into our upper. And then we're going to let it out. So it's belly, chest, release, all through the mouth. And there's no holding. So this is a circular breath. So it's there's no breath holds. There's like, if you've ever heard of Wim Hof, which a lot of people are familiar with, he does the breath holds. He's trying to teach you to jump in ice water and stuff. Right. We're just trying to release some emotions here. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe circular. We're going to let it in, out. We're not blowing and sucking a straw. Okay. So what happens when you blow? That causes tetany. So tetany is sometimes called lobster claws, and your hands will kind of do this. And people are like, I'm going to die. But no, it's just called tetany. And it's what's happening is a lot of times if your body's very acidic and the pH is adjusting very quickly, it can cause these little cramps. It's kind of like when a runner runs and they get the cramps because they're not breathing correctly.
Gotcha.
So that's what happens. It doesn't hurt. I've never had anyone say it hurts. It just can be a little shocking in the middle of it. You're like, what's happening? But it goes away.
Gotcha.
So it's really intense. You're going to feel really euphoric. You're going to be tingling all over. But at any time, you can just, breathe through your nose, close your mouth, and, you're in control. But I've had people say it felt a little bit like the start of a panic attack where you kind of have that woo. But if you push through that, and even during a panic attack, if you can breathe deeply through the panic, you can kind of process it instead of focusing on it, focusing more on your breath. Okay.
And what do you typically, what's the time frame? Like, what's a session with you? Like how long?
Yeah, normally my sessions are an hour. We usually breathe for about 30 to 40 minutes of that. The rest is me explaining it. And then afterwards, you need a few minutes to come back to life. So yeah, it's usually for breathing, it's about 30 to 40 minutes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any, someone not take to it or have like a panic attack by doing it or anything of that nature?
No, I've never had anyone like pass out or have a panic attack. I have had someone get up and leave in the middle. Wow. It's an intense thing. And if you're not ready to process it, it can be a little overwhelming. But I try to tell people go into it with an open mind and just see. I mean, what do you have to lose? You're just breathing, where we lie on the floor, so you're not going to pass out. I've never seen anyone like have any adverse reactions or anything. It's not right. It's because it's so powerful. It's not recommended if you have like uncontrolled blood pressure or, that kind of thing, just because it can make your blood like really your heart beat really fast, and it can cause some blood pressure issues. But yeah, if it's controlled or if you're on a medication or something like that, it's perfectly fine.
And how often do you recommend people do it?
I've had times where I needed to do it every day for a week or something, but once a week, whenever you feel the need, once a month, if you do it and you're like, okay, I'm processing a lot, and then you start to feel good, then you can just do maintenance and say, I'm going to go once a month or just as needed. But you could literally do it every day.
Yeah. What are you typically seeing? Like, two questions there. What are you typically seeing in terms of people coming back? Like, do you see how frequent? I know these are generalized questions, and then clientele, is it more? I'm assuming it's more female, but maybe not.
It's not. It's a very masculine type of breath work. I do have women come and have, very powerful experiences. I did. But I find that the men that do it, they come back more regularly and they sit up and say, wow, this is really what I needed today. It's very, like I said, it's very powerful. And some women can find that off-putting. So it just depends on what you're trying to process, what you're trying to work through, and what your purpose is. It's not a meditative, relaxing experience at all. It's hard work. Like your ribs hurt and yeah, you get, it's intense, but afterwards, like for me, and I've had a lot of people tell me like the day after, a few days after, everything was brighter. Like were more alert, because we're breathing so shallow, just
Yeah.
enough to live. I mean, how often do you even think about breathing?
Yeah.
Have you ever like took a deep breath and be like, whoa, I haven't had a deep breath in a long time. Like I just physically felt myself inhale deeply. It's because we don't even think about it. It just kind of happens,
Yep.
you know? So
have you ever had anyone like break down like emotionally after?
Always. Yeah. That's the best part, is being there to support someone when they're going through releasing something. And if you think about like when you get angry, you're like, oh, I'm so mad, and you clench everything, right?
Yep,
or when
absolutely.
you're sad, you sob, you're like, you're holding your breath, you know? So if you think about all of the intense emotions that we try to like tamp down and push away, they're all ones that kind of like right in that solar plexus area, right in the ribs and the lungs and belly, it's where you kind of hold it. So when you're doing this breathing, it kind of somehow it releases all that stuff. It really kind of lets it go. And because I'm there, I'm encouraging you, like, let it up, whatever bubbles up, let it out, you know?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people just feel like they need that space and they need that ability and that permission to release the stuff that they're holding on to. Because what do? You know, I had, you know, 2 kids. I was a single mother. I had 2 kids, and I couldn't go around like being angry or crying all the time. I had to show a mask that everything was fine, because you want your kids and those around you and people at work to think that you got your shit together. And then you go home and you're like, I'm falling apart, you know? And this is a good way. You need to find a way to let it out, whether it's breath work or dancing or yoga, or, you know, I used to go do kickboxing. And I mean, it was so, you know, powerful to just punch the bag and kick it, and picture that person at work that drives you nuts and just kick them, you know? Whatever it is, find it.
Yeah, your body, I mean, when you're in fight or flight, right, it does produce the chemicals, the mechanisms to fight or flight. And if you're not doing those things, it's just staying in you. It's not, you know, eventually that shit's going to catch up with you. So exactly. I think what we'll do is, because we had talked about doing a mini session, so why don't we skip to the last question that I ask, and then we can sort of end with a session at the end. I think that would be a better. So this is the last question I ask everyone: is what words of wisdom would you impart to a man who's just started this shitty process of divorce?
Yeah. I guess I would say, you know, allow yourself to feel all the emotions. You know, you're here to do that. We're not here to hold them in. Don't run from them. Don't swallow them down. Don't ignore it. Like, let them find a way to process them, you know, whether it's feeding the ducks by the pond or breath work or, you know, whatever it is, kickboxing, find a healthy way to process the emotions and don't hold them in.
Agreed. I think that's an essential step in healing from this. If you're not going to feel the emotions, you're never going to heal from them.
Exactly.
Okay, so hopefully I don't fall off my stool.
Get comfortable
or break down and crying like a baby. Although
do it, you'll feel better.
Although that's okay too. So let's do it. I'm a little nervous, to be honest. I've never done anything like this before, so
well, we'll just do 5 minutes. Okay,
sure.
So is that good?
Yeah.
You want to go longer?
No.
Okay.
Let's do
5 minutes.
Let me baby step into it. We'll do 5 minutes and see. And you know, and this is probably something. And guys, if you're interested in this, is probably something Amber and I will figure out how to do together at some point for some of you guys that are interested to have a class and things of that nature. So
I could totally do it on Zoom. So that would be great.
Yeah. So let's do baby steps for Michael. Let's do 5 minutes.
Okay, sounds great. All right. So we're gonna start. Let's just get grounded. So just close your eyes. And I know there's a lot of, you know, computers and energy around. So we're just going to kind of let those go away. So as we start to breathe, remember we're breathing about 80% of our inhale into our belly and another 20% into our upper chest, all with the mouth open and relaxed. Okay. So we're going to breathe in. Belly, chest, release. belly, chest, release. No breaks, no holds. Keep breathing. Your mouth is going to feel dry. Your mind is going to try to distract you. Just keep breathing. It'll all go away. This is just your body trying to protect you from the work that you're doing and what it knows might come up, which are emotions, traumas. Just keep breathing through it. Try to make big breaths. And if you want to put one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart and feel yourself pushing your hands away from your body. You'll start to feel tingly and euphoric. That's completely normal. You might feel a little dizzy. That's also normal. Just push through it. If it feels a little bit scary, just remember at any time you can close your mouth and just breathe through your nose. But I encourage you to push past your comfort zone. So push, breathe bigger, breathe deeper. If you like the way it feels, you can breathe a little faster and a little deeper. We're 2 minutes in, so keep going. Push past that voice that's telling you to stop, that you look silly, that you're thirsty. It's all normal. Good job. Keep breathing. 2 more minutes. Imagine going for 40 minutes. I know you can feel it. I know it can feel weird and intense the first time, and that's normal. It could feel really good if you like it. Try to find a rhythm that works for you. You could do it like one big breath. I try to do the 2-part breath because it makes you remember to breathe belly, chest, belly, chest. As you get more familiar, you can find the pace that feels good for you. We got 1 more minute. You can do it. Hang in there. You can start feeling a little dizziness in your head, a little woo. Yeah, it feels good. Hang in there. 30 more seconds. You can do it. Notice what might be coming up for you. Maybe it's a little self-consciousness. Maybe you're worried about how you feel or look. Maybe you feel a little sadness popping up or a little anger. Maybe you feel tightness. Try to relax. Try to let your fist loose. Maybe you wiggle your fingers in your hands if they're tingling. Release that energy. Sometimes just shaking them feels good. You can roll your neck. Just keep breathing. You're almost there. A few more breaths. Try to make them bigger. Maybe on your exhale, you really like, let it out. Sometimes that feels good to just breathe it out with an intensity. All right, we've gone 5 minutes, so let's just close our mouths, breathing through our nose normally. Maybe you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth for a few breaths. Just allowing yourself to come back to normalcy, to where you feel comfortable. Slow inhale, slow exhale. Try to go as long as you can, maybe to the count of 5 or 6. Maybe you add back in that hold where you do the hold in between your inhale and your exhale. Find that breath that feels good to you. And when you feel comfortable and ready, you can slowly open your eyes.
Ooh, shit. That is intense for sure.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Every fucking thing you said, you're like, you might be a little this, you might be a little that. Fuck yeah, I am a little dizzy, I'm a little tingly, I'm a little afraid, I'm a little anxiety a little bit, because you, like you said, it's like it's almost like you're denying that deep breath to, like, I don't know. It's really hard to explain. It's intense. I tell you that. I'm glad I only did 5 minutes. My chest started hurting a little bit, just in terms of, like, not my ribs, but my chest. I don't know if I did feel like, because I think I had a little anxiety over it, I did feel a little closed off and a little, like,
Yeah.
holding in, so to speak. So
Yeah. So
oh,
that's why I normally have people lay down, because when you're sitting up, you're also using all of your abs and all of your back. So when you lay down, you can kind of just really
relax,
expand and open. So it's really good when you're laying down. I normally have people just in that relaxed state the whole time, so they can really. I'm weirdo. Like I'll start off laying down and then I sit up. I like to move around, because you can use, the longer you do it, that your fingers start to feel like electrified, and you just like, I need to move, you know.
I felt it around my mouth too, a tingliness. Now my jaw feels something, I can't really describe it, but yeah, wow, that's really fucking intense.
Yeah, it's because the pH in your blood is changing, and so your body's trying to adjust quickly. So, and like you said earlier, you know, you get into that fight or flight, or sometimes freeze. People also freeze, you know, you get there. So what this breath work does is it takes you to the heightened fight or flight, like, woo, I'm going to die.
Yes.
And then you come down at the end, and the last 10 minutes is just bliss.
Yeah.
So what it's doing is it's resetting your nervous system by taking you. If you think about the stress that we deal with every day, whether it's, you know, jobs, traffic, whatever, bills, divorce, you're living at this low level of stress that you feel like, oh, it's just normal. It's not. Our bodies are not meant to deal with this kind of stress. And so what this does is it takes you all the way up and brings you back down, so that you know, okay, this is my starting ground. This is where I need to be. And when you start to feel that whoop again, breathe and then come back down. So once you kind of have your what do you call it, your line of your beginning line, like this is my foundation, where I need to be, your foundation. So I know when I'm not feeling that I need to do something to release what's inside.
Boy, that was fucking intense. I can't imagine doing 30 or 40 fucking minutes. I mean, I guess I'll probably, like
we got to do it.
I definitely want to. I think I do wonder about how laying down would be more beneficial for me, because I definitely felt, I mean, I'm a big dude anyway, and my posture probably sucks. So, I mean, I feel like
I could see you were kind of, your shoulders were a little rounded.
And I think some of it was honestly the fear too. There was a part of me like, fuck, am I getting myself into here? You know, because I've never done it before. And so I'm like, I don't know, we'll see. So I think there is a little bit of that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, really, yeah, I can't describe it, gentlemen. I highly recommend it. We definitely will have to do a class. We'll figure all that out.
Definitely.
Well, I can tell you what I didn't think about any of my fucking problems. I didn't think about anything, right? There was
That's
no
the
like,
point. Yeah.
and that's part of getting into your body. You know, get out of your head, get in your body, so you can. I don't know about you or these guys. I know some of them very, very well. I love them dearly. I'm in my head a lot, right? I wish I could shut my fucking brain off and never. People always ask me, how do you got so much going on? It's because this thing doesn't shut off. It's always thinking about, well, what else do I got to do? And in those moments when you're focused on something other than your fucking problems, it's very freeing. Right. That was really, really awesome. I am definitely intrigued and would love to do a longer session.
Yeah.
So we will talk about that for sure offline. How can people find you? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, my website is createwithamber.com. I have on there all my events that I do. You can also sign up to do Zoom. So I'll offer Zoom one-on-ones or groups I can do as well. So yeah, I would love to have anyone reach out if you have questions about breath work, different types of breath work. I'm here to answer questions. This is kind of my passion and my obsession, and this is what's worked for me. My ulcers are gone, my stress is gone. I don't have to take, my Klonopins anymore to be able to sleep at night. And I'm telling you, this has been the thing that has done it for me. So that's why I do this, is because there are other ways to medicate yourself without drugs and alcohol. You can literally breathe your way into health and feeling good.
Well, it's your passion is inspiring, and
it
makes me emotional, honestly. Anytime someone has something that they love so much, there's something about that just touches a place in me, because I think it's so hard in today's world to find that. And then when you find someone that has that, it's almost spiritual in a way. It's special, because so many of us are running around this fucking rat race of corporate America, and we don't have that thing. And I mean, I do with this, and when I see it, it's really, really inspiring and awesome. So thank you for being you. Thank you for doing this. And we will definitely do it again, and we will definitely work together in the future.
I love it. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching and or listening. Thank you to Nick Coyle and Lifer for allowing me to use their song, Born Again, which you're hearing now and at the intro to the podcast. Thank you to Justin Delahanty and all of my brothers at the Alpha Code. Please visit the website, risingphoenixpodcast.com, to connect with me and other like-minded men who are looking to thrive and grow after their divorce. And remember to surround yourself with people who add value to your life, who challenge you to be greater than you were yesterday, who sprinkle magic into your existence like you do to theirs. Life is not meant to be done alone. Find your tribe.